So hi everyone, this is Becky from Joy's team, and I wanted to welcome you to another call with a successful business preschool owner, online preschool owner. So today we have Randi Carroll, and her online preschool is, what's the name of your school?
Leilani Online Pre-K.
Leilani Online Pre-K, awesome. And it took her about 3 months to get from first hearing about preschool, online preschool, to getting her started. And she now has one class of 18 students doing online. Awesome. So welcome, Randi, to our call today. So first, tell me how you heard about the idea to start a preschool. Where'd you even get the idea?
I got the idea pretty much by browsing Facebook, and you know how those sponsor ads come up, and I saw Joy Anderson in preschool school system first before I dropped the preschool all-stars, and I was just like, oh, that seems like a neat idea. Okay.
So you never thought about doing anything like this before you saw the ad?
No, not actually teaching online preschool, but teaching, yes. Not, actually going through with it. It was just an idea. So
awesome. So you kind of had an idea that you'd like to teach someday.
Right. Yes.
Younger children, or just, had it always been like a little preschool age, or just teaching?
Well, actually, I was geared more towards being a school counselor. So either way, I was going to be in a school setting. So that's where my focus was going to be.
Okay.
But a little bit of my background, I have background in actually teaching elementary students. I guess it would be probably elementary that I was geared towards, yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so you got the idea about doing a preschool from seeing some ads. Mm-hmm. And then what took you from there? You kind of told me before you saw an ad, then you just go ahead and tell us one more time the process from the ad.
I saw that. Okay, yeah, I saw the ad on Facebook, and then I saw her advertising about getting her book if you wanted to learn more about starting your own preschool. And at the time, it wasn't really geared towards online, but it was more the traditional in person. But either way, I clicked on it, and I was reading, all the reviews, the different interviews and things like that. And I said, you know what the heck? Let me just go ahead and give this a try, because I like to read anyway. So I said, it won't hurt to read the book. What I decide to do after that is all up to me. So I purchased the book. It came, I didn't read it immediately, I'm going to be honest, because I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, and then after talking over with my mom, she's like, yeah, go ahead and read the book. I mean, you bought it. What do you have to lose? So I literally opened the book up and read it in about a day and a half, tabbing and highlighting. And I said, you know what? Maybe I can do this. I just need to give myself that push and just get it started. And that's how it happened.
Awesome. And then after you read the book, I said you're part of All Stars, the Facebook group that got you kind of decided, I'm going to read this book. And then after you read the book, after you joined All Stars, read the book, did you do, what other things got you to starting your school? What other steps
I joined the 30-day challenge. So that helped me a lot with getting everything organized step by step. And after I did the 30-day challenge, which I think I did in August, I opened my preschool 1 September. But I actually had at least one enrollment before my actual start date. And that was a shocker, because I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even done my lesson plan. I haven't done anything. I was just, advertising, friends, family, and bam, I was like, okay, now I really got to get going, because I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna, so, but it happened just like that.
Like once you have a student, you're like, okay, well, now I got to do that stuff, right?
There's no
putting it off. You have a date, right. So you got to have it ready. Did you ever get preschool in a box or anything, other tools besides the challenge to get you going?
Yeah, I did get preschool in a box, and I got the digital version. I didn't do the one that she mails out.
Physical one, right.
Physical one, yeah. I got the digital one.
And what's your thoughts about what you got out of preschool in a box? Did you?
I would say that it is awesome what Joy and her team has put together for Preschool in a Box. I mean, step by step, you would never get this with any other business that you're trying to start. I mean, literally templates, flyers, marketing info, do this, do that. I mean, step by step, it just goes in order. And if you actually follow it and do it step by step, I mean, you're set up for success. Even though, I mean, you have little nuances, but that's expected when you're starting any type of business or doing anything for that matter. So it was a blessing. You know, I think without that, I probably would have been going left, right, up, down. Do I do this? Do I not do this? You know, so, but it brought everything full circle to make you fully understand how to get your preschool up and started.
Yes, awesome. Love it. So tell me what life was like before you started your preschool. What were you doing, and how was it like?
Well, I still currently have my job, so I'm doing my online preschool part-time until I could get more classes, more revenue and things like that. But other than that, I was just doing my regular 9 to 5 job, being a parent, and I mean that's pretty much it. Just working.
Okay, so you work at you've been so before you started preschool, you were working full time, and you have a young child. So you get to work from home then.
Yes, I've been working from home since the whole pandemic started.
Okay.
So yeah.
So probably also one of those odd blessings from the pandemic, right?
Right. Yeah.
Let you be home and you could still do all these other things at the same time. And so, but your goal is to transition into quitting your job. That's your kind of goal to do? And so you're just building up your preschool till you feel like you can do that, right?
Right. And I actually want to add another day and actually probably do more classes within a day to have, smaller class sizes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what about your full-time job isn't fulfilling you, that you want to quit it and do something else? What about it I don't know if that question is clear enough, but you know what I mean?
No, it's clear. Pretty much what about my job I don't like?
Yeah, that you're not like, I love this, I'm gonna do this forever. Instead, you're like, I want to do something else, but I know I have to keep doing this because it's like, logical to keep doing that until you can support yourself. But why would you want to leave your full-time job now?
To be my own boss.
Okay.
I don't have to clock in at a certain time. I don't have to log no hours. I don't have to answer to no one, only my parents. So I'm only answering to myself and to my preschool community.
Mm-hmm.
And to be your own boss, set your own schedule, your own hours, your own this, your own that. That is truly amazing and a blessing within itself, because not many people have the opportunity to do that. So when I'm at a point where I can quit my full-time job and do my preschool full-time, then that's what I'm going to do. And I've given myself a goal to try to do that. So we'll just see how everything works out.
Yeah. Awesome. So were there any things that discouraged you from starting your school? What were some of the hard things that you maybe had to overcome? Doubt or fear?
The self-doubt, definitely, because I didn't think I was good enough to teach someone else's child. I mean, because I can use the teaching method that I have with my child, but to actually try that same teaching method and teach 4 or 5 other kids, it may not work because it's not one shoe fits all. So it was that whole self-doubt thing. And then I didn't want to come off dull or boring, because doing that free trial, it's either it's hit or miss, the parents like you or they don't, or it may not just fit for their family. So all that within itself is what was like, I don't know. But, with friends and family who was really behind me, backing me, they really gave me that push to say, no, don't give up, keep going. You got it. You can do this, so yeah.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you had those good friends to help you, because it's a hard thing to get started. So that's awesome. So is there any statement or thing you say to yourself when in your head to help you overcome, those hard times in your preschool and stuff or in life?
Yes. You're stronger than you think, and you're too blessed to be stressed.
I love that. Stronger than you think and too stressed to be blessed. Be blessed to be stressed.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess the other way you won't be blessed either if you're too stressed, right?
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. That's great. So we're going to kind of switch to talking about some of the other struggles. So one thing with doing online preschool or online teaching is the tech side. Can you tell me any experience you had with the tech side, any struggles that you had with setting it up and all that?
Yes, I did have, I mean, everything was going great, you know, until I got to the whole test out your website thing or your with GoDaddy, right? Because you have to get your domain from GoDaddy. So I was like, why isn't my website working? You know, so I reached out to Beth. She's awesome. I sent her a personal message. I was like, hey, Beth, you know, I'm trying to test out my website. I follow everything to the T, you know what I'm saying? But I get this error when I'm trying to test out my website. Well, she said, maybe something wrong with your domain. I was like, well, I did all the steps that, you know, it said. She was like, well, no, you know, it's some coding. And so I was like, coding? I was like, what am I like, what do you mean coding? You know, so with her help, she truly helped me with the coding part because we did actually have to go in there, change some codes around, add some codes. So she really blessed me in that area with getting my website up because of the whole GoDaddy domain issue. But after that, I mean, everything was good. And she also offered her time, you know, if I needed to reach out to her for any other need that I needed. So
yeah, it's invaluable to have Beth, and it's amazing how many people she helps and everything. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, websites are kind of a big daunting thing if you've never done that.
Right.
You know, there's easier ways, but yeah, you hear the word coding, you're like, what?
Right.
How am I to have any idea to do that? So that's awesome. Awesome. So how about advertising? Do you have any struggles when it came to advertising or anything like that that you like to share?
I would say no, because the advertising part to me was fun because, you know, Joy mentioned the different platforms like Canva, poster my wall. And it was exciting to me to sit down to see everything because I've never been on those websites before. I didn't have no need to. So to sit down and to play around with it and come up with the different ideas to do the flyers and stuff, that was pretty awesome. And I just posted to all my social media outlets, sent texts and called family and said, hey, can you send my flyer around, my website around to everybody? So I think I was really proactive before I think my website was even finished because I had did the flyer and stuff. So I was like, hey, you know, please help me out. So to me, that was fun. And, you know, just like I said, doing the flyer, the text, the social media outlets. And I think that's what really helped.
So do you think that if you weren't part of our All-Stars or had preschool in a box that you would have been able to just make and create all those fun things and get advertising out as easily, or like, you know?
No, because the templates and seeing something side by side to being able to balance off of, that's what made it easy. But I think if I wouldn't have had those templates, I mean, because you can go on, I always say this word wrong, but Pinterest or however you say it.
You got it, Pinterest, yeah.
Or just Google something. It may not be exactly what you're looking for, you know, because there's so much out there, but to have something solely focused on that, you know, that's why I say the advertising piece was easier for me because I followed it and used her suggestions.
Awesome. And I totally agree. Yeah. Because it's hard. Like, because if you found anything, it'd be maybe about daycare or just education in general or whatever, but to be so specific and then you just easily just copy and do, right? And so that's awesome. Yes. What is your favorite marketing strategy of all the ones which one worked best or you liked doing the most, or what do you think?
Ooh. I would say probably posting on my personal page.
Okay. So Facebook? Is it Facebook?
Facebook before I did my business page. So I would say posting on my personal page before I did my business page. That was easier because you just do a post and send it and people like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm going to share. Well, share, you know.
Awesome. So being able to kind of share what you're doing with those people that are closest to you and already in your life, and then they want to share that too with everybody else. Awesome. I love that. Okay, so now think back to those first classes. You talked about how you didn't really think about what lesson plan you were going to do or what you're going to teach them, and you already had students coming. So what were some of those struggles that you had when you started actually teaching your classes?
Well, first, sitting down, looking through the curriculum after I printed it off, because you can't really get your hands wet if you're just looking at it online. That's one reason. That's one downside to me not buying the physical preschool in a box, having a digital version, because I could have just made copies. You know what I mean? But actually downloading it and printing it off and going through there and scratching my head and be like, this is online. This doesn't really pertain to me. I can't do that online. So having to adapt the curriculum the way I saw fit to teach online. I wouldn't say it was difficult. It was just like intriguing, to say the least. You know, because I mean, everything is there. Now you just have to adapt it and pull what you need for online versus traditional in school. And then I was more concerned about the connectivity, Zoom working. Is the link going to work when the parents log in? Did they get the link? You know, so I was more concerned about that. Because when you're doing anything online, just like that, internet can go out. Their internet can go out. Your internet can go out. You can be in the middle of teaching, because it happens to me now, and it say poor connection. I'm like, oh no, no, you know. Yeah. So yes.
So how did you kind of overcome that? Like, it sounds more like you're just worried that your parents and all of them would be able to connect, and then they get frustrated with, you know, all of that stuff. So how have you overcome that? Making sure parents know how to get on and do all that.
So I post and pinned an announcement in the private Facebook group with links. Okay. Of course, now it's different because, you know, the hub stuff, but I pinned and posted an announcement about how to get onto the Teaching Time portal, and then for the Preschool Pals portal. And I had everyone log in at least 10 minutes prior or 15 minutes prior to make sure, because I have to physically let everyone in, because that's how I set it up in Zoom. And then that way I would know if everybody was coming in, if there was any issues and things like that. And then and to this day, I still use that, and it helps because sometimes they do have issues with connecting, but given that buffer time before class actually starts, makes it less stressful for both parties.
Right. Awesome. That's a great idea. I love that. Okay, so what about setting up your business? Any struggles, things that were hard, or you don't know, you know, with the actual business setup part?
Well, the whole business setup part, I mean, she explained it. She hit on it in the book and things like that.
Right.
So I just pretty much went on my state's website. And well, I had already had an LLC, but it was for something else.
So you had done that kind of
process. I had done that before, that process. So all I had to do was look on there and change it, and then actually open up my business account and things like that. But other than that, things were smooth sailing, because like I said, she hit on it in the book. And it, like I said, if you follow what's in the book, what's in the group, you know, ask questions, because everybody is different and everybody is so knowledgeable in different areas. If you do that, I mean, you'll be set up for success. But because I did have an LLC prior, I already knew that I could go on the state website. Now I just need to figure out, okay, well, how do I change it? And then I had to figure out what banks in my area actually had the option for business accounts, because not every bank has that. So, and then that was one thing. And once I did that, I fill out the paperwork, wait for it to come back, wait for my card to come back from the bank, and then it was smooth sailing.
Awesome. Okay, so maybe you could talk about maybe one of your biggest screw ups, something that just you're like, I totally messed that up. What would you say to that? Is there any time?
Yeah, I would think I had a parent. Right. And because I asked this in the group, I had a parent, and it clearly says in the policies and procedures, you manage your own PayPal account.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So she wanted to cancel. She sent me an email about something or another, but she didn't specify that she wanted to cancel or whatever was going on. So I was like, okay, I mean, that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
So we went through that whole debacle. She put in a complaint with PayPal or whatever, and talking over with my mom, with the email communication, she was very rude and nasty, which she didn't have to be. And I was very professional the whole time, communicating via email, because you never know nowadays with social media, you can screenshot something, post it, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want her to manipulate anything that I said anyway to post in any of her little mommy groups or any
Right.
group that she's with.
Right.
I didn't want to have a bad reputation. This is what I said. It's in black and white.
Yeah.
So after she did that complaint with PayPal, at first I was like, no, I'm going to fight it. Then I was like, you know what? It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. I said, this is just one incident that you had with a parent. That doesn't mean that she's going to tarnish your name, going to affect your business in any way. But that did really have me down in the slumps for a little bit, So all I did was whatever they say to do. I just said, she's right. However the thing is, I just said she's right, and I just left it alone after that. So that was one challenge that I did have, with parents not knowing that if you don't no longer want to be a part of the program, it's up to you to cancel.
It's your PayPal. You can't
right. It's your PayPal.
And stop it. They started it. They have to stop it, right?
Right. So but now I know, and then I did reach out to Joy, just how you would handle that situation. She, just go ahead and cancel it. Don't even fight it. It's okay.
Yeah.
So that made me feel a little better too. But I was really down about that.
Those times are really hard. I've had several of those things that make it like those are not the fun times to deal with people that are not happy. But yeah, it always comes back to you when you're able to just be the bigger person and just be like, no amount of money is worth fighting all of that and the negativity. And it comes back to you that when you do good for others, they'll, that the universe brings it back to you, So, and a lot of times I just say, I didn't want them in my school anyways, right?
Right. And then
you don't want to deal with those kind of parents.
Right. And that goes back to my saying, too blessed to be stressed.
Exactly. Exactly. You gotta let it go and it's much better. So looking back to where you started, before you started your preschool, feeling like you're going to be at this job forever that you're doing, and all the experiences that you had so far, how has it blessed your family to have started your online preschool?
Well, for one, the extra income is always a plus, because like if you're behind on something, the extra income always helps you get caught up. So that has really blessed my family a lot. And then to actually keep my daughter in her extracurricular activities, because I have that extra flow of income coming in and not always worrying about, oh, well, no, I can't get you that. We can't do that, because I never want her to feel deprived. Not that she gets everything, but still I want to be able to take her to do different things. So from that aspect of it, and then knowing that soon I am going to be my own boss, that within itself, and then I want my daughter to, the name for the school is actually her middle name. So I want her to look back and be like, yeah, mommy did this for me. I can do anything that I set my mind to. So I want to be that good example and role model for her. That's the big takeaway. I'm actually doing this for her.
Right.
So
I love that. My preschool is actually named after my youngest daughter also.
Oh, wow, cool.
And we started the school when she was 18 months old, and now she's like almost 12. And she loves that it's the school that, the school is named after her. It's called Lily's Pad Learning. My daughter's name is Lily.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And so she loved it. So
that's awesome.
It is. They have a very different outlook on what you can and can't do and accomplish, because they watched me through their young life run a school and be successful, and I got to be their preschool teacher, and and they got to be part of it all. And I made them come back and do things for the school as they got older. So I think it will be awesome for you to be able to do that with your daughter. Is there anything else that you would want to share, tips or advice or encouragement for those that are thinking about starting this journey?
Yes. Get the book. Get the book. Get the book.
And read it.
Yes, and read it and read it and read it. And definitely join the Preschool All-Stars, because that group is full of women who it's a plethora of ideas from all over the United States, and even in different countries for that matter. So get the book, join Preschool All-Stars. Even if you don't get your signups, don't get down on yourself. They're going to come, but you have to be proactive with your marketing. That's the key. You have to be proactive with marketing, and don't be afraid to reach out to family and friends. Don't be afraid. Send that text, call them, and then also I would want to say, even if you have one student, teach.
Yeah.
One student, teach.
Because
you never know how impactful you're going to be to that one student. And then that one student is going to be there, and then they're going to tell their friends, and the mamas will be like, oh my gosh, my child, blah, 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 and then that's how, it starts trickling down to other families, other people. Oh yeah, really? And then you get a free trial. What? Really? Let me check that out, So, yeah, but never give up. Never give up, even though we all have our times where, we feel defeated, but just, pick yourself up and try again, and know that you can do it regardless of how many students you have. You can do it. And that gives you your extra prep time, So look at it like that. If you have a start date or whatever, and you don't have any sign, just keep prepping. That'll make you better. Keep doing those dry runs with whatever platform you use, either if it's Google Meet, Zoom, whatever you use, just keep doing those dry runs, because that's only going to make you better. So, yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Such great advice. Okay. So, where do you think you're going to see yourself in the next year or two? What do you hope what you will accomplish, or your school, what will, in the next couple of years? What's your goal, your dreams?
3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Because right now I'm just Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And 2 classes on Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay. So you hope in the next year or two to have grown, to have more classes, right?
Yep. More classes, add a day.
Okay. Awesome. So what would be a big dream in 5 years? What would you love to have in 5 years? Probably quit your job, right? Somewhere.
Yes. To quit my job. I don't think I want to do traditional in person.
Yeah.
Because that is a lot of more red tape, a lot of more requirements, and no, I don't think that's for me.
Yeah.
So you have to do what you're most comfortable with. So I don't want to overextend myself. So I think growing online, and adding more classes, and of course quitting my job to do my preschool full time. Because if I just do my preschool full time, that means my creative juices can actually flow, and that's the piece that I think that I'm lacking a little bit. I am creative and I have creative ideas, but they can't all flourish because I have another commitment with a full-time job. So if I just had my preschool full time, and this was my focus day in, day out, every day, it was okay, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. We doing this, we doing that, but it's kind of limited now because this isn't, my main focus. So, yeah.
Right. Well, you're doing great work for the limited amount of time that you're able to focus on it. You're doing great, and that's awesome how many students you do have. And you're right, the marketing piece is, the biggest thing, just getting the word out, not being afraid. I love it. Okay. So, so thanks for sharing all of that and your great tips and everything, and your enthusiasm. So let's talk a little bit for just maybe about some challenges. Is there anything right now that you're like struggling with in your school?
The only thing that I think that I'm worried about is the need for online preschool. I mean, because because of the whole pandemic, especially with schools opening back up and things like that, I'm kind of concerned about how that's going to look come fall, the new semester. So that's one of the things that's in the back of my head, like what is that going to look like? Because I do have some students that's turning 5 that's probably going to go in person, to kindergarten, because because the schools are open and that's what the parents choose to do. So that's the reality that I'm trying to deal with. And then I think that's it. And then just understanding that I need to continue to make sure that they have everything that they need, especially with being online, to take some of that burden off the parents, meaning curriculum wise, everything that they need for class, basically, because I send packets out to the parents every month, because I do know from feedback from the parents, some of them couldn't print, some of them couldn't do that, some of them didn't want to print, so I had to take on that extra cost myself.
Right.
So, and still trying to keep my prices affordable, but I think that I am, what is that word? Undervaluing myself. They say that a lot in the group. Yes.
Yes. I did it for almost 10 years, so I'm very much aware of that.
Right. So I have to do better with that. So I struggle with that as well, because, I don't want to put it at a price point. I'm like, that is too much. But at the same time, everything that I do and provide, I mean, you really have to think I really am undervaluing myself. So I have to get better at that as well, and actually put a price tag on what I'm actually worth.
Right. So have you had any thoughts about how to address that? How to keep people, despite the fact that schools are opening up, or any ideas about, have you had any thoughts on how to?
I'm thinking, but it's all jumbled right now. Because trust me, those wheels are turning and it's all jumbled right now.
You're just not getting a clear idea yet. It's something you need to think about or figure out, but you're not getting like a do this kind of.
Right.
So maybe some thoughts that I'll share with you. I also wonder about how viable online will continue to be. It's obviously and has been a need. And so people out of necessity have said, yeah, let's do this thing because my kid can't even go anywhere. It's better than nothing, right?
Right.
But you don't want to be a better than nothing option, right? You want to be the choice. But I do also think that people's eyes and minds are much more open to alternative ways of teaching their children than the traditional way. And I think there's also more and more, in the way that our world is going, more people who are wanting to be in more control over their children's education and not just give it up to an institution to teach them whatever they feel like teaching them. You know what I mean? And some of it's a little bit frightening what they want to teach our kids, right? So, so I think looking at what are you offering that gives parents a peace of mind, because it's really the parents that are going to choose whether that's easier for me or this is easier for me. You know what I mean? And anytime that you're like, this will set your child up for a better future, or, parents will do pretty much anything for their kids, right? You have a 4-year-old, you'll pretty much do anything for her to give her what, not have her struggle, right? Like you said, that extra, be able to do those extra things. So, I mean, if you're an extra thing, that helps their child. I mean, people will pay all kinds of extra money to get piano lessons for their kids, or karate, or dance, or swimming, or, do all those extracurricular things. And so if you kind of are able to look at what you offer and what value it is to them, and even if they do their full-time education, they still maybe go back to school, I know I've heard a lot of people talk about niches or some little way of specializing so that you're giving them what they're not getting in public school or whatever. And definitely those monthly kits are awesome, and you should market it that, I give you all the supplies, everything you need, the ease for parents, right? Make it easy for you. Yeah, just kind of maybe thinking about how in all that fun marketing that you have fun with, how like Joy talks a lot about watching some of those like ads that she's where they tell you get everybody to feel the pain, right? And then you're the solution, right? You give them, but everybody's going back to school, but what about this part of that? What's the pain about it? And I do think that it's just like what Joy says with lots of people think, well, all I can do is daycare. Everybody does daycare. No one's going to want preschool, right?
Right.
I think we kind of cut ourselves off thinking that everybody's the same and everybody has the same needs. There's homeschool parents, there's a lot of parents who just have been completely dissatisfied with public education, especially now that they have been teaching their kids and been involved in their everyday education, that they actually know, oh, my kid actually has a problem and no one's been helping him for all these years, or you know what I mean? And so I think if you can find the pain and be the solution, and even like Joy does this all the time where she surveys her families and surveys us and says, what's the one thing you hate about sending your kid back to school, or something might be something you say, and and then be able to see what their pain is so you can kind of come up with those solutions, because it's kind of hard to know how to help if you don't know what their concerns are, and so maybe doing some surveys and kind of finding out what people are thinking and what they're, see how you can, I don't know, does any of those things, hopefully some of that serves you and gives you some ideas,
Actually, yes, because I think I did, back in December, I did a survey to the parents to get feedback, on how they thought the class was going, what I could change, what I could do better, what they would like to see, So with that, I adapted a little bit, because I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh yeah. So when they actually saw me implement those changes per their feedback, it was like they were ecstatic, she actually listened, because sometimes people do a survey, you just do it to do it,
it's like anytime you help create, it helps the parents feel like they're co-creating this experience with their child, but they're not having to actually be the teacher, but their input matters and that you listen to them, and so they're also then more invested in you because they help create it, they help to build it, kind of just like being part of the new hub and being able to say, I need this and I need that. And then you're like, I helped make this thing. I'm not just going to leave it,
Right.
And so, yes, I would absolutely look for, get some ideas even from the group on different questions to ask to survey that would help pull out those concerns about in-person learning, online learning, and see if that helps you to kind of get some ideas and get the ideas flowing of how to keep and get more students. And personally, I am hoping one day to create a whole online curriculum of teaching dyslexic kids. And I think there is still a huge market for online learning, and that more people are open to that method of learning than they ever have been before. And, and so if you're that niche or you solve their problem, she just sends me a kit of all the stuff, and and there's a lot of moms who really have a hard time sending their little babies out when they're young, but they don't know what to do with them, or they have several kids and that one's getting ignored, and so kind of just finding those other people, because there's going to be people who are going to just send their kids back to public school as soon as they can't afford to, they work, they don't feel qualified to do anything different, whatever it is. But there's going to still be people, just like there's plenty of preschool moms that in the world where nobody needs preschool, right? Everybody needs daycare, but somehow there are hundreds of us with hundreds of students that somehow have found the people that don't exist, right?
Right. Yeah.
Those families that want just preschool. There are parents who aren't going to want to send their kids back to public school for all kinds of reasons,
Right.
you know. So just stay open that they're there, they're out there, and you're not limited to your area with online, you know.
Exactly.
You know, that's one of the hard things with being an in-person school is, you know, they're only going to drive so far, and you know, there's only so many people that live around you that are going to come to you. But you have the whole world, anyone with the internet that you can influence and affect. So that's another thing, just kind of all the people in the world, there's going to be somebody that still wants online education for their kids, even when the craziness of the pandemic goes away, you know. So anyways, well, I hope that served you and helped you to kind of think of those things, because it's definitely a thing to figure out, because you know, all this momentum, all the good that you've got going, you know, you don't want it to just, you know, die. So so surveys, ask questions, find that pain point and be the solution. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Randy, for visiting with me, and I'm excited to see how your school grows, and you just seem like a super fun person that's got a lot of energy and lots of, you know, good to give out there. And your daughter is going to love getting to be part of that with you. You know, I think that's the best part. I loved getting to teach mostly my younger daughters that were part of my school, but the influence you can have is great. And that example of being able to live your dreams, whatever that dream is really a powerful thing to give to your kids. So, well, thanks for taking the time. You're awesome. And we'll see you in All Stars, okay?
All right. Thank you. It was a pleasure.